Welcome to Global India, a cultural fusion podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Lilly Padman. We have as our guest today an outstanding young lady, an astrophysicist who has graciously agreed to address today's topic, Perseverance, Mars, and Beyond. I'm delighted to introduce Gayathri Eknath, who is currently doing her Ph.D. in astrophysics at Cardiff University in the UK. She received her MSc degree in astrophysics in 2018, also from Cardiff University. And prior to that, she obtained a BSc degree in physics with nuclear astrophysics from the University of Surrey in the UK. Thank you, Gayathri, for joining us on this podcast and sharing your expertise with us. We look forward to learning more about the spectacular landing of Perseverance on Mars and its implications for the future of space exploration. But first, can you tell us a little bit about your background and work?
Sure. I'm an observational astronomer. I look at observational data taken by telescopes on the ground or in space and analyse these observations to figure out what is actually happening in space. I like to think of myself as a space detective, so basically I look for clues about the universe. Currently I'm looking at observations of the Andromeda Galaxy, which is our big neighbouring spiral galaxy in a group of galaxies called the Local Group. I look at light coming from this galaxy at sub-millimeter wavelengths to try to study the amount of dust in this galaxy. This dust is not the dust we find in our homes. By dust, I mean small particles about the width of a human hair, comprised of carbon and silicon, which absorb light coming from stars and play an important role in galaxy evolution.
That is absolutely fascinating. We are still trying to comprehend what is happening on Mars, and you're already looking beyond Mars. Can you tell us how you got interested in space?
So I've had an interest in space from a very young age, mainly from reading about it in books. As a kid I wanted to become an astronaut, but now I'm probably in too much of a comfort zone down on Earth. But I still get to look at space through my work. I see it through images taken using far-infrared telescopes, for example. And for anyone interested, the European Space Agency is currently recruiting astronauts, so it's a very rare opportunity, and go for it.
Thank you, Gayathri, for bringing to our attention the European Space Agency's current program for recruiting astronauts. I hope our listeners will make it their mission to spread the word in their communities and persuade young aspiring astronauts to follow up. Perseverance, the Mars rover, made a splash with its recent successful landing on Mars on February 18th, 2021 to be precise. Can you tell us more about this historic event and what we can expect from this Mars mission?
So Perseverance is a rover which was designed to better understand the geology of Mars, for example by collecting rock samples, and also looking for signs of ancient life preserved in rocks on Mars. This successful rover landing is truly a testament to the advances in robotics and scientific instrumentation, as Perseverance has successfully demonstrated the fact that it can be used for space exploration. The vast number of cameras on the Perseverance rover also make it possible for the general public to learn more about the science mission, and this provides a great opportunity for public engagement and outreach.
Thank you, Gayathri, for explaining the design and the mission of Perseverance in simple terms that all of us can understand. During the dramatic descent and landing phase of the Perseverance mission, Swati Mohan, an Indian-American space engineer, provided a live commentary, including confirmation of the touchdown. Can you tell us more about Swati Mohan and the team she led to the grand finale?
It's incredible to see that the team surrounding the Perseverance landing is very diverse. Swati Mohan is just one member of this huge collaboration, but it's unlikely that such a successful project could have taken place without contributions and innovations from a diverse team. With Swati Mohan being an Indian-American woman in the field of science and technology, it's both inspiring and important to see such representation in the media. Through her work, she's truly providing another impressive role model for those looking to pursue a career in STEM, so that's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And I just want to say a recent quote of hers in the Times of India, which was, "I would have to say that, in my perspective, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory is incredibly diverse. I'm not the only woman of colour, I'm not the only Indian woman, or the only woman or non-binary. Everyone is respectful of each other, and I think that's part of the reason that Perseverance was able to succeed. I definitely think diversity helps with innovation." So this is what she said, and as a PhD student in a STEM field, this is something I can definitely relate to and agree with. Ideas do not form in isolation.
Thank you, Gayatri, for that insightful perspective on diversity and innovation. Thank you also for pointing out how Swati Mohan can be an inspiration for youngsters interested in pursuing a STEM career. A human mission to Mars has been the subject of science fiction for some time. I love going on the mission space ride at Disney's Epcot Center. When do you think Earthlings will actually get to Mars?
It's quite difficult to put a timescale on this. I think the progress made on space missions over even the past 20 years has been fantastic. And the fact that we can see Christmas videos from astronauts on the International Space Station is brilliant. So an adventure to Mars is looking promising, but it's much more likely that we will get to learn more about Mars through unmanned space missions for the near future at least. Or maybe some virtual trips is already partially possible, for example, through the images that we've seen from Perseverance. Of course, if humans do set foot on Mars, then there will be other things to think about carefully, other than the bare minimum of sustainable survival. For example, we'll have to think about space law.
Well, Gayatri, I get the clue. You are telling me that going to Mars is not something that can happen in my lifetime, however disappointing it might be. Finally, I have noticed how muted the media coverage of Swati Mohan and her team has been in comparison to the enormous attention that someone like Meghan Markle received for her bombshell interview with Oprah Winfrey. There was more discussion about Swati Mohan's bindi than her scientific accomplishment. What is your take on the media's perspective?
It is a shame how little publicity science topics get in the media, although at least in my experience, scientists have been increasingly trying to engage the general public over time. There are definitely fields where the actual scientific work is focused on more than outreach and public engagement, but this is changing and improving. Social media has also played an important role, for example, through the use of the sarcastic rover accounts, trying to grab our attention in a creative way by saying something sciencey and sarcastic. Unfortunately, there is still a lot of work to be done to get media teams to want to capture the hard work of those working in a STEM field, like how well Swati Mohan has done both on screen and behind the scenes for the Perseverance mission, for example, over something like popular culture. Meghan Markle's interview was of course an important one, but what is more striking is the amount of unwanted attention that Meghan Markle received from the media. The real challenge, I think, will be to shift the mainstream media focus from this type of celebrity stalking and shaming to the positivity and empowerment brought by its strong work ethic and perseverance, no pun intended there, of hardworking females in the world, whether it be Swati or Meghan or even Oprah herself. It is definitely a fantastic achievement by Swati Mohan, and like I said, it's amazing to see that we are progressing to see role models like her in the media. But the current publicity for the work of women and any minority groups in STEM is nowhere near enough. Although it's not all doom and gloom, this is definitely something that we can continue to work on and choose to challenge, like the theme of the International Women's Day this year.
Yes, we do need creative ways to generate more interest in science in a world obsessed with pop culture. Thank you, Gayatri, for a truly stimulating session and for adding a new dimension to our podcast. Wish you all the very best with your PhD program and space exploration. A big thank you to our listeners as well. Hope this episode will inspire you to scale new heights toward achieving your dreams.
Oh, thank you so much for having me and for this great opportunity to participate in the Global India podcast. And I hope this episode will inspire many more students to choose a career in science, technology, engineering, or mathematics.
This episode, dealing with space exploration, would not be complete without a tribute to the great Indian American astrophysicist, Nobel laureate Dr. S. Chandrasekhar, known for his stellar work on the structure and evolution of stars. On a personal note, this episode brings nostalgic memories of my days as a PhD student at the University of Chicago, where Dr. Chandrasekhar and other luminaries were professors at that time, and there was great collaboration between departments. As a matter of fact, I ended up doing my PhD thesis in statistics, also known more recently as data science, on a topic arising from particle physics. It is indeed nice to see this type of collaboration happening more and more in fields like artificial intelligence and bioengineering. We conclude this episode with some space music and a futuristic space joke. Hope you don't get spaced out. You're all probably frustrated with travel bans all across planet Earth. Now, to add to your frustrations, CNN just came up with the following breaking news. Elon Musk announces all Spacex trips to Mars have been cancelled. The Martian authorities have decided to ban travel from Earth until coronavirus is brought under control.
Space. Oh, how you baffle human race. I heard you're this big old place, but I wonder what lies under the sun. Such a tiny white dwarf and you've begun. Do you think when your time is done, would you be so kind to spare mankind from the explosion? Oh, there's a part of me that loves to belong to your great legacy. Float among the stars and fly to Mars and back. Oh, how I wish to be swimming inside my own galaxy. So space can swallow me whole while I'll be waiting for the black hole. Ooh, space. You have a way to make a man feel displaced. We were never meant to float there in the first place. We were never meant to float there in the first place. But we have astronauts to thank, hey Mr. Moon. Soon I'll see the other side of your face. Don't you think it's a bit of a disgrace to hide? So keep your better half as a secret. Oh, there's a part of me that loves to belong to your great legacy. Float among the stars and fly to Mars and back. Oh, I appear to be just an atom within infinity. So space swallow me whole while I'll be waiting for the time warp. Fourth dimension, show me the way to go back to yesterday and start a whole life over. Oh, comet tails, constellation, show me the way to Saturn's chocolate slide where the aliens play. Oh, time warp, fourth dimension, show me the way to go back to yesterday and start a whole life over. Oh, comet tails, constellation, show me the way to Saturn's chocolate slide where the aliens play. Oh, there's a part of longs to belong to your great black sea. Float among the stars and fly to Mars and back to where a soul could find a heavenly body that would be so kind to take me home. Until then, I'll be waiting for the black hole, the closest to the sun. Venus, I could see you from Earth. You're the only one. Mars, can you accommodate living things? Hey Jupiter, I know of your invisible rings. Saturn, I heard that you can float on water. Hey Uranus could be the name of somebody's daughter. Neptune, you're so far away, the color of the sea. Hey Pluto, you will always be a planet to me.